there's only one option if you're the Philadelphia 76ers. Like, if you're going to go balls to the wall for one overpriced, past his prime star, who makes the most sense? Jimmy Butler, Paul George, or LeBron James? And I said last Thursday, because Kinker had like the 5 different things, and he's written about it on the site a few times, about like the 5 different options that the Philadelphia 76ers have. It's like you can go Paul George, you could go the route of LeBron James, you could decide to sign none of these guys and just go with role players. You could choose to trade Joel Embiid. I think that's his option number 5, is trade Joel Embiid and try to get another elite guard to pair with Tyrese Maxey, looking at what Dallas has been successful with Kyrie and Luka Doncic together. I said, I think that for once, even though I've been against it at times in the past, like I think that the only real clear option here is that LeBron James to the Philadelphia 76ers makes sense on a lot of levels for both the player and the team. And it's maybe the least scary time to invest in LeBron James. I get that nobody wants to burn a first-round pick on Bronny James. And maybe you won't have to. Like maybe ultimately LeBron says, I'm going to go where I'm going to go because I want to win a title. And I think Philadelphia has the best chance of doing it. Or maybe Bronny says, hey, Dad, I know you want to play together, but I want to get myself in position to go to the best possible team for me and to not be in your shadow and to just kind of exist on my own. We don't know. Unless you know the James family, you have no idea either. I will simply point out the following. Jimmy Butler, as I said a few weeks ago, you didn't want to extend at the time when he was in probably his best prime-ish years available because you were afraid of what the last couple of years of that contract were going to look like. If reports are to be believed, Jimmy Butler is going to want an extension. So you will have effectively missed out on the best potential years of a contract you could have signed a few years ago to get the tail end of that contract, which you were afraid of having in the first place. That's what you would get to start. And then you'd have to extend him. Oh, and by the way, you'd have to probably send draft capital and more just to get him here from Miami. That's no bueno. If they go and do it, fine, I guess. And I like Jimmy Butler and what he brings, and that he and Joel Embiid kind of seem to have good chemistry together, and that maybe Jimmy lights a fire. And I don't think Jimmy would be a bad guy to have in the locker room with Tyrese Maxey with that killer, like working on killer instinct. I think that there could be some benefits, but I think that overall, it's a lot of draft capital, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of years, it's a lot of missed games, ultimately, if you get Jimmy Butler. And Paul George, I think, is going to be a lot of the same. I think that Paul George 3 years ago would have been great, would have been a fantastic fit with what this version of Tyrese Maxey is and this version of Joel Embiid is, would have been a perfect match. However, same issues. Money. You're going to have years on a contract that you're probably not going to feel great about. Paul George has also had a propensity for getting hurt and missing time. And there are also questions about if he can perform in the postseason. And so far, the evidence would indicate that he is not a clutch performer and that you'd essentially be getting a lot of what kind of has followed James Harden around the league, that the guy doesn't perform in the biggest moments. So that is its own version of a risk. LeBron is like this, for whatever negative thoughts you might have about LeBron. There have been plenty of accusations of him being a coach killer, of him being a front office killer, of him dictating terms, of him backdoor dealing for free agents, of him trying to backdoor GM a team. This is the perfect opportunity. This is the perfect time to do it. Because LeBron's not going to sign a 6-year contract or a 5-year contract, probably not a 4, maybe not even a 3. He might sign a 1-1. And if all that costs you is a first-round pick to draft his son, and you bring in LeBron, who is still a very good player at this stage in his career, who you would have the ability to potentially just say, like, look, we're going to load manage LeBron James this year. We want to have him for the postseason. He's not going to want to do that, but maybe it is a conversation that he has with the team and says, you know what? My days of being able to be a potential every game player are past. And for me to be the optimal player to go chasing that championship in the postseason, I'm going to have to miss some games. Fine. Short-term deal. The money doesn't matter because you don't have a lot of commitments tied up this year. And hell, the backdoor GMing that he allegedly has tried to do in multiple stops now between his couple of runs with Cleveland, with Miami, with the Lakers, that actually could work to your advantage because Daryl Morey hasn't shown that he can put together a cohesive roster or put together a team that actually works well around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. A set of role players that can execute well and in a meaningful way in the postseason. He hasn't done it yet. So why not let LeBron do it? And by the way, you still have a high-powered, well-thought-of in league circles executive in Daryl Morey. It's not having LeBron running roughshod on Elton Brand as the GM. It's a perfect situation. Let LeBron go and pull on some strings behind the scenes, get a decent enough team of role players around, and know that going into next postseason, yes, Joel Embiid's health will be a question mark, but you'll have another year of Tyrese Maxey hopefully taking another big step. LeBron fits in. He slides in perfectly with those two. And maybe, just maybe, it will be a match made in heaven. But to me, that's the only option right now. Now, I did see what Josh said here. None of the above. Give me TJ McConnell back. Absolutely not. And I like TJ McConnell. And I love what TJ McConnell brought during the process Sixers years. And I think that people in Indy love what TJ McConnell brings to the table. You know what I don't need? I don't need more TJ McConnell here. I don't need TJ McConnell in a backcourt with Tyrese Maxey. And it's not because he wouldn't work, and it's not because they wouldn't work well together. It's just I don't think that's the kind of move that raises your ceiling enough for you to be a legitimate NBA Finals contender and to be a team that ultimately is like one of three that realistically can contend for the Larry O'Brien trophy. I don't see it. And I could be wrong. I'm not, but I could be wrong. So again, you can let me know in the comments if or how or why I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I'm not saying you have to go star hunting. I'm not saying that you have to go out and break tradition and go against what Daryl Morey has traditionally done as an executive. But I'm saying that if there is a potential to get a LeBron here, to have him kind of pull the strings behind the scenes and get a bunch of guys who are also title chasing, ring chasing, and all it really costs you is money for his deal and a first-round pick for Bronny James, fine, so be it. It's the easiest path. It's actually a no-brainer idea.